everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about my student teaching experience. So I recorded this video yesterday actually, and I absolutely hated how it came. I don't know why. I think I just felt too much like a robot in it. If you did not know, I am an education major, specifically early childhood education, so that's K through 5, and then my degree is also in special education, so I can teach either when I graduate. So I just kind of wanted to talk about my program a little bit, like in school, what that looks like, and then I'll talk about some student teaching things. Okay, so first of all, I just told you my major, obviously. Why I chose it, I don't really know. I think going into college, kids were the only thing that I was remotely interested in, or passionate about in any way, shape, or form. And there was a lot of teachers in my life too, so I think it just kind of made sense to go into that, and I stuck with it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not really like a fairy tale story. So for juniors, I just finished my junior year. So we are at an assigned elementary school 3 days a week, and then we have classes on campus 2 days a week. So that elementary school is the same all year long, and we have 4 different placements throughout that year. So I did 5th grade special ed, 2nd grade, 3rd grade special ed, and kindergarten. And kindergarten was one that did get cut short due to Miss Rona. But yeah, those are all the grades that I've done so far. I guess what I was doing in the classroom, pretty much co-teaching, which is just when you and the teacher kind of work together to teach a lesson. So she would oftentimes be instructing, and I would be going around conferring with students or giving extra help to students that needed it. I did a lot of paperwork type stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Working with kids a lot, conferencing with them, and yeah. And then I had classes the other 2 days. They prepare us very, very well. I feel like I could literally teach tomorrow. I'm not kidding. I mean, that's a little dramatic. But I feel like I could teach tomorrow. Just all that to say, they do prepare us very well. Okay, so now that my program stuff is out of the way, I guess I will kind of talk about student teaching more specifically. So I kind of just have a bunch of questions from people that I'm just gonna go through and answer. So the first one is my hardest moment. This mug is very fitting for the occasion. I would probably say my hardest moment was just seeing students go through really hard stuff that they didn't understand, if that makes sense. Specifically, there was a 2nd grade girl in the classroom that I was in who was just going through a lot of family stuff, and it was brought into the school setting. She was just really upset and didn't know what she did wrong when she really didn't do anything wrong, and it was a big mess. And so just seeing her go through something that she didn't understand and she couldn't do anything about and I couldn't do anything about it, that's really hard. Any kind of thing where a student is going through stuff with their family, if I saw a lot of drama honestly between friends, and girls and guys being super mean to each other, calling each other names, and the other students, that's just really sad. And so that was really hard to see that throughout the year. Funniest thing, this one's really hard. I feel like something funny happened to me every day because they're kids and they're just funny. I guess I'll just talk about a couple stories that are a little bit funny. I don't have any that are super funny, so sorry if you think these are stupid. The first story I have, so I was in my 2nd grade placement, and there was a student that came with that class to specials who wasn't in the class. So I kind of knew him, but not really. I went with them to specials this particular day, and I was trying to get to know the student and kind of build a relationship with him because he wasn't in the class. I was talking to him. It was a technology special, and they were making what are they called? I think they called them word clouds. The picture is just a bunch of words. You probably know what I'm talking about. So they were making those, and I kept trying to ask him what words he was gonna put, and he was like, can't tell you. So I went around and I was like, okay, who are you making it for at least? Can you tell me that? And he goes, my girlfriend. I was like, okay, so what do you want to say to her? And he was like, how do you spell I love you? And I was like, okay, and I told him. And then I was like trying to help him pick a shape, and he was like, I want a heart. And they didn't have a heart or something, I don't really know. But they did have a Cupid shape. So I helped this little boy write a love note to his girlfriend in the shape of Cupid. So that was fun. That bonded us for sure. I guess another funny story, all my funny stories seem to come from 2nd grade, but I was in that 2nd grade classroom, and my thing that I love is to wear different earrings. Don't know why, but that's just my thing. Kids kind of like caught on to that. And so every day they would like comment on my earrings, blah, blah, blah. And one day, I guess I wore like really big ones. I don't really know. And all the kids like came in the morning, and one particular kid was like, Miss Emily has huge earrings. And for some reason, the entire class just bursted out laughing. Like, every single one of them was dying laughing. And I was like, so for the rest of the day, every once in a while, someone here and there would say, Miss Emily has huge earrings. And then they would all start laughing. I don't know why. It was very funny because they were all just like cackling over the fact that I had big earrings. This question, how has it grown me? It's grown me as a teacher is kind of how I want to answer that question. And I think it's grown me as a teacher as far as my patience, for sure. When I first started and things like that, I was like, oh my gosh, these kids don't know how to do anything. They can't listen. Why aren't they doing this? And it just took me a little bit to learn, like, these are kids. They just want to have fun, and that's okay. And they are just like wired to like be energetic and to be kids and be young and be joyful. And so just learning that like that's how kids are, and they're still gonna learn, and they're still gonna like, you know, participate and be engaged in classroom stuff, but not 24/7, and that's fine. You know what I mean? So I feel like my patience has grown a lot in that respect. Someone asked what my favorite lesson has ever been. I would say like my favorite subject or like kind of lesson to do is interactive read alouds. I think I like them so much because the students like them so much. Like they love when I read to them or when their teacher reads to them. Interactive read aloud is pretty much just what it sounds like. It's an interactive read aloud. And so we just talk about the book with each other. They talk to each other about the book, like every couple pages, things like that. And it's just really fun. And I found that with interactive read alouds, the students are just like so excited, and so they're more likely to be engaged, therefore more likely to get more information or knowledge out of whatever you're doing. Somebody asked my favorite grade. I don't know if you can tell by the amount I've talked about it, but I do absolutely love 2nd grade. 2nd grade to me is just like the perfect grade. Well, their age, they're old enough to hold a conversation, you know, they're old enough to read higher level books and get more knowledge and have more discussion over them. They're more independent, things like that. And then from like a teacher education standpoint, 2nd grade is the grade before all the heavy standardized testing starts. So that's really nice for the kids, but also for the teacher because standardized testing comes down. So 2nd grade is like the sweet spot, and I love it so much. Someone asked my favorite student. I don't have one. One of my favorite students, she was in my 2nd grade. I'm just gonna talk, this is just a video about my 2nd grade placement, okay? We just kind of like bonded really quickly, and she just became like my mini BFF, you know? It got to a point where I had to come up with a system, like a stickers system, to where she could only give me a certain amount of hugs per day. Not because I didn't love all of her hugs, but because they were distracting her from literally everything. She wanted to walk down the hallway while holding on to me. During class, she just wanted to hug me, and it was so sweet, but I literally had to give her like a chart and limit her to a certain amount of hugs per day. That is one of my favorite students. Someone asked what my favorite moment. I don't think I could ever pick a favorite moment because there's been so many. Most of my favorite moments are like the days when it was like my last day in that classroom and the mentor teacher and the students would do something really cute for me, which was always really sweet. I think my one of my favorites, I don't know, I can't pick a favorite. One of my favorites is when I was leaving my 5th grade classroom. My mentor teacher gave me a book called Scribblestones. Basically what the book is about. It's about spreading kindness. And my mentor teacher had all the kids make me a little scribble stone. And so they all painted rocks in class, and they gave them to me to put in my future classroom to give to my future students. And then I can read that book and paint more rocks with my future students as well, and on and on and on. And so that was like really, really sweet, and just like a really kind gesture of like wanting me to go on to my next classroom and spread kindness and have them spread kindness and more kindness and more kindness. So that was really cute. Another question was, what was one thing that surprised me the most? And I would probably say the fact that I didn't hate kindergarten. I was like really dreading kindergarten for some reason. I don't know why. I think I just thought in my head that I'm just way better with like the older middle kids. So kindergarten made me very nervous, but I actually liked it. I don't think I would ever teach it if I had a choice, but I didn't hate it. They're a lot more independent than I thought. Different activities, lots of coloring and arts and crafts and stuff. So that was a nice surprise. I don't know what I was expecting, but I guess I wasn't expecting that, but yeah. Someone said, what's been my biggest challenge? But I guess the biggest challenge for me was feeling inadequate or not having confidence. I guess just kind of overcoming those thoughts while teaching of like, you're not good enough, you can't do this, like you're not, you know, blah blah, all those like bad thoughts. Just kind of like getting past all of those. Just like ignoring all of the like negative comments in my head that I was thinking was really hard, and the biggest challenge I think, and it's still the biggest challenge, and it probably always will be the biggest challenge, is just thinking I'm not good enough. But yeah, I would probably say that. Okay, somebody else asked, what is one way you connected with your students? And I think that's a really cute question. I think the number one way that I connected with my students was finding each of their little like favorite things. Like every student has their one thing that they just love, whether it's, I don't know, Pokemon, what is that called? Beyblades, what else was really big? Rocks. I had a student that was obsessed with rocks. Anyways, so finding each of their little like favorite things and learning about it so that you can talk to them about it during school, or like when they first come in the classroom and stuff. And I find that that was like the best way to connect with them, because they like get to see you like caring about them and not just being their teacher, but wanting to like talk to them about their favorite thing. And when you know what their favorite thing is, they're like, oh my gosh. And so that just like builds trust and builds the relationship. So I would say that's probably my favorite way to connect with students. Someone asked if I've ever doubted my decision. That's definitely a yes. I think sometimes, especially with teaching, it's like you have your 1 or 2 grades that you're great at, and the other ones aren't bad, but you just don't feel like that's your place. And I think I had that kind of placement first. The 5th grade placement, that just wasn't my place, you know what I mean? And so having that first, I was like, crap, like I am not meant to teach. But a part of me was like, you know what, just stick it out, one more placement, like let's just see how it goes. And I think God kind of like put that in me to want to wait to transfer. I was literally like about to transfer and like change my major. But I think God was like, no, just hold on, just hold on. Because right after that 5th grade placement was when my 2nd grade placement started. And it was just like this is what I'm supposed to do. And so I think I doubted it at first, and then once I found like my place, I was like, okay, yeah, like this is what I'm supposed to do. And that was also kind of like in that 2nd grade placement, that was the first time that I felt like, you know, this is what I'm supposed to do. I think I covered everything that I wanted to about student teaching. I would just, I guess, like advice for student teaching. Your mentor teachers are there to help you. They want to help you. They're there for you. They have been in your spot, and they want you to succeed, and they want you to be a successful teacher. So ask them all of the questions, like every single question, ask them. If you have any question, write it down, ask them. That's my #1 advice, because they are there to answer your questions, and they're the only ones that really can answer your questions. And I think I learned a lot more from being in placement than I did in my actual classes, because I asked those questions and learned a lot from my mentor teachers. So I would say soak in all the knowledge you can from your mentor teachers, because they are like smarty pants. So next year will kind of look the same for me as far as first semester. My second semester is when my full-time student teaching starts. So basically how that works is I slowly pick up subjects. For example, week 1, I teach science. Week 2, I teach science and social studies. Week 3, I teach science, social studies, and math. Basically, I do that until I have all subjects under my belt. And so once I have all those subjects that I'm teaching, then my 6 weeks will start. And then I'll be their teacher, literally their teacher for 6 weeks, teaching everything. Well, actually, fun fact, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you care, unless you are an education major watching this, but in Georgia, they are voting to do away with EdTPA in June. I will literally cry of happiness if they do, because that is a big part of senior year and a lot of stress. But yeah, that's kind of what my next year will look like. And I also get to pick which grade I student teach in, which is exciting. And obviously we all know what grade I will pick. And then, okay, last question I wanted to talk about was, what does your ideal first year teaching look like? I don't really know. That makes me like sick to my stomach thinking about it, just because I really don't know what to expect, and it just makes me nervous to think about it. But I think my one thing that I would wish for is a really great team of teachers, like on my grade level. I feel like that would just be really, really beneficial. So having those other teachers to kind of like help me and, you know, be there for me. And I know I'm pretty sure I'll get a mentor teacher at whatever school I'm at, my first year teaching. Building trust and learning about classroom management and things like that. And so I don't really know what I want my first year to look like specifically, but I want it to be fun and I want to love on some kiddos. All right guys, that completes today's video. I hope you enjoyed me talking about student teaching. I hope you learned some things. Maybe you will be student teaching, or you're just curious. Please subscribe, like this video, turn on your notifications, and let me know what you want to see next. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.